Hey YouTube, so driving edit here. I've had a couple of videos in the past where I've showcased, or not really showcased, just kind of showed something I've done with the car. But I finally decided to get a little bit more adventurous, and since I changed my handle, tag, title, whatever you want to call it, be going on a lot more adventures, or hopefully plan to go on a lot more adventures. But I'm just going to start off with introducing the car to y'all and going a little bit in depth, see if I can actually remember everything, because the car was built in 2018 and I've kind of gotten out of the car game for a little bit to focus on some other things. But here we go. So there it is, 2006 WRX. Got the 6-speed swap in it, as well as a built EJ25. I've done some things to it recently, but not too much. But let's get into it. And let's start with the interior so I can get beat up immediately and get that out of the way. I got the battery disconnected because it likes to discharge easily. There's a draw somewhere, and I haven't figured out where it's from yet. But anyway, got all this stuff. Obviously got the access port, and I'll go into some projects that I've considered in a future video. But anyway, to focus it more on racing and going on the track and whatnot, I decided to get rid of the big, like, clunky stock wheel and go with the Sparco wheel. Also got some NRG RSC 400 seats here, I believe they are, with the Sparco harnesses. I actually need to renew these here in after this year is complete. But I do have the harness bar, and it is connected, full on. But this is where I'm going to get beat up. I know I need to get a roll cage and whatnot. Anyway, so up there in where the clock used to be, have the oil pressure, boost gauge, and AFR gauges. And I need to get the oil pressure gauge, and there's one more that I'm not exactly remembering right now, but all of it just to be able to read and make sure I know when the car is up to temp and safe to, like, go hammer down on. Yep. And then obviously just the shifter, like I said, full 6-speed swap. So you got the STI shifter there, short throw, and I forget what shift knob. It's been forever. And then I got rid of the radio because I don't use it, and I could probably replace that with something that's a little bit more functional with reading diagnostics and all that on the car, just to see numbers and make sure it's healthy. But I also got the fire extinguisher there, and in the future I want to have that plumbed fully. But other than that, took out the back seat. I can put those back in. I still have them in the garage. And that's really it for the interior. Now, as we step outside, took the wheels off just because I haven't driven the car since, I want to say, the beginning of January, when I got back to the house after some vacation time. So I want to avoid the flat spots and any of that before going to the track, which is scheduled here for the end of March. Anyway, like I said, I went with a full 6-speed swap, so obviously not going to see the transmission, but there's the Brembos as proof. And then I've also got some Rotor Pro rotors on it, and I just recently swapped out the bleed screws for speed bleeders and replaced the squishy rubber lines that were on there from factory. So they had 130,000 miles on them, and finally replaced them with some Goodrich stainless steel brake lines that I've had sitting around for, I want to say, going on 2 years. I really did have everything, like, kind of just sitting in the background with my focus on other things, but it feels good to actually start getting back into the racing or the car scene a little bit. As you can see here, I've got some end links, and I've also got the adjustable sway bar, which I have to the fullest rigid it can be. And then venturing into the back, I went a little bit overkill on here. Got the battery relocation kit. I just wanted to do it. There's not really a purpose behind it. I just did it, possibly for some projects in the future too, but I just like the battery being back here way more. I feel like it's more accessible, and it declutters the engine bay quite a bit too. So the big thing here that I went overkill on was the fuel system. So I have the Radium dual fuel pump hanger right there, and a bit crazy. I have two Walbro 450s in there. Both of them run at the exact same time, and it's hardwired. Don't ask me any questions about wiring because yeah, that's something I still have a lot to learn about. Anyway, it's a Dash 8 feed with a Dash 6 return, and it goes to my surge tank, which the surge tank has two Dash 6s that feed into the Dash 8, one Dash 8 that goes to the fuel filter and then to the front. But in the surge tank, I have two AEM 320 E85 compatible fuel pumps. So again, a lot of overkill. On this setup with the ID 2000s that I have in the rails, just one set. Didn't go too crazy. Don't have two of them. Just one set. I did get it put on a quote-unquote race tune and made 700 to the wheels at 38 psi. So it gets up and goes. The only bad part is, obviously, as we all know, the boost loading meme. So it takes a little while. But here's the showcase of it all. So the only thing really left here that is stock is the intake manifold. I started off with the, I did have a Perrin front mount intercooler before when I had a Dom 1.5, and then I just went crazy after that. So on this build, I have a 66 Gen 2 turbo with the IAG air oil separator back there. And then, like I said, I have the built engine, and I did a full custom one, so I didn't just buy one from IAG, but it is an IAG stage 3 block, if I remember correctly, so it's closed deck. And I went overbore to a 99.75 millimeter piston, and those, if I'm not mistaken, are the Manley Turbo Tough pistons. I kind of went as strong as I could, so that, you know, it would hold up to the power. And then I also, at the time, Wiseco had just come out with the boost line rods, so I went with those, and it's got King bearings as well, and it's got the stock heat treated crank in there. So I guess it's pretty robust. And then with the heads, I was lucky enough, by the way, the entire car has parts from Define Performance. So Jordan Cutbirth is the only person I've gone through for parts. Installation is another story, but all the parts come from him. And when I was building the car, I was at the point of needing heads, so he offered me the opportunity to be the first to test out his heads and his head package, and it's from the ground up, custom from him. And I haven't had any problems so far. I got the GSC hardware package, so I've got the GSC S2s as well as the springs, retainers, and yeah, it's held up so far. Got the tile wastegate over there. I also went with the Perrin, hopefully you can see it down here, Perrin E4 equal length header, so it doesn't have the Subaru sound anymore, but whatever. I like the smoothness of it way more, and I've been told it sounds more race car-ish at the high end, and I do rev it to 8,000 when I'm getting spirited. But I also have the Koyo radiator, and then got the Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator just to have it there, and then that's a custom bracket from Holly Performance, one of my friends from Oklahoma. And then, like I said, I've got the ID 2000s, and those are fed through the IAG fuel rails, and then I need to clean that mess up. That's kind of a little bit of a shoddy way of doing the battery cleanup that I did. And then yeah, I think for the most part that does it. It's out. Oh, and it's got the Cobb ethanol kit on there, so it's I haven't used 93 on this in a while, Although I need to switch it out so that I can keep it safe while stored, so that the ethanol doesn't soak in too much water and then destroys everything. But I'd say it's a pretty basic build. Oh, that too. Boom, the phenolic spacers in there. Can't forget about those. I can't really tell if they make a difference or not, but I do know that this car doesn't overheat, even when I do get spirited with it. The highest I think the temps have gotten were after a quarter-mile run, and that was only to about 210, 212 degrees, and then it was like immediate cool down after that. I used to have the Mishimoto radiator shroud on the radiator, but that thing, it was terrible. Well, I won't say it was terrible on them. I'm sure many of people have had the shroud before, but it was not doing the job for me, so I switched back to the OEM fans and haven't had a problem since. So pretty basic build. I also use the Amsoil 15W50 as my tuner suggested me do, and for the blow-off valve tile Q, and then I forget what size the dang wastegate is down there, but hopefully you can see it. But no, you can't. But there's a turbo and all that stuff. So all around fun car. I've only gotten spirited on the streets a couple of times. I did do a little bit of e-tuning with it, but it's gone down the track a couple of times too. I just suck at launching, so I'll probably say that my quickest time is an 11.7, but that was with an absolutely terrible 60 foot 60 foot, just because I obviously suck at launching. But that's the quick walkthrough of the car, first video, and in the future I will be doing some videos on or asking you guys what you think about some ideas that I have for the future for it, because there are some, obviously that includes cages, because as I did say, I do plan on going, or I've already bought my reservation for a day HDPE or high performance, my bad. Wow. HPDE for the NASA event going on at VIR from the 20th to the 21st of March. So I'll be taking the car to that. That's what it's getting prepared for. And yeah, so I'll hit you up with the rest of the fleet and other videos, as well as plans that I have for this thing. And until then, I will see you guys later.